Hey, it's Mazciel, and today I am going to be talking about 5 books that I want to read this spring. I have a mixture of YA, contemporary, historical fiction, and some classics. All of the books that I'm going to mention today, I'm not going to mention in any TBRs, so these are books that I want to read after I finish all of my monthly TBRs. So I really want to read these books, but they're not really like my priority. But yeah, I'm just gonna get started. So the first book that I want to talk about is The Spell Book of the Lost and Found, and this book really caught my attention. I went to the library and they had this like poster where they had books that they were recommending, and this was one of them. And basically this takes place in Ireland, and it's a story where things start to disappear, and at first it's really small things like accessories and things like that, and then it progresses to things like hearts, memories, and people. And I just found that to be really interesting, and it follows the perspective of 3 characters, and Olive, which is one of the characters that we get to read from, is really worried that one of her friends is going to disappear. So that's really interesting. And then all of a sudden they find this spell book which could help them get back everything that was lost and disappeared. So yeah, this sounds really interesting, and I just want to know why things started to disappear. Like, it just sounds like a very interesting storyline. So yeah, I am looking forward to reading this. Let me know if you guys have read it or heard anything about it. But yeah, it just sounds like a very different YA book, so I'm looking forward to reading it. Next, I have Remember Me by Sophie Kinsella, and I've never read any of the Sophie Kinsella books. If you don't know who she is the author of Confessions of a Shopaholic. I loved watching that movie. If you guys have watched it, definitely let me know in the comments down below. But this story follows the character Lexi, who gets in a car accident, and when she wakes up, she finds out that she doesn't remember anything from the past 3 years. So she doesn't know who she is anymore. She doesn't even know that she's married or who her husband is. So that is like a really scary thing for her. And she also like realizes that she has this whole new life, basically this new job and a whole set of new friends, and she's trying to live this life. So it just sounds like a really interesting, fun read, and obviously it would be extremely scary to wake up in a hospital and not remember 3 years of your life. But like I said, I've never read a Sophie Kinsella book, so I am looking forward to reading this. I am in the process of clearing out my bookshelf, and I have a stack of books that I want to read to make sure that I actually want to donate them and they're not books that I want to keep forever. And this is one of the books that I've had for years, so I want to read it this spring, and if I enjoy it but I don't see myself reading it later on in life, I will be donating this book. But I mean, I never know, this could end up being one of my favorite books and I might end up keeping it. Next, I have The Girl in the Blue Beret by Bobby Ann Mason, and again, this is a book that I've had for a really long time, and I am looking forward to reading it. It is a historical fiction that takes place in World War II, and it follows the character Marshall, who was a pilot and was shut down in Europe, and some people, especially a girl in a blue beret, help him escape the Nazis, and it is because of them that he survived and was able to escape. And it also follows his story as he returns to the crash site years later, and he wants to find the people that helped him, especially the teenage girl in the blue beret, and he just wants to thank them for everything that they did and for helping him. So it just sounds like a very emotional read. All of the World War II historical fiction books that I have read have been very emotional, so I am sure that this will be an amazing read. Next, I have 2 classics, and every year I try to read as many classics as I possibly can, but I can never really get into them. And like I said, I am in the process of clearing out my bookshelf, so I have a pile of books that I want to read just to make sure that I want to keep them or donate them. So I have 2 classics that I'm going to talk about, and the first one is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, and this book I tried to read years ago and I just could not get into it. I don't know what it was. I don't even remember like how far I got, but I just remember I did not like it and I couldn't get into it. So I definitely want to reread this again and see if I can get into it. So this story is about 2 childhood friends who fall in love, and it is a very twisted, dark romance novel, so I am looking forward to reading this. I don't really remember much more about it when I read it. Like I said, it was years ago. I think I was in high school when I tried to read it, and yeah, I just didn't like it, but I am looking forward to reading this. Like I said, I want to read a bunch of classics this year, and hopefully I can enjoy it. I know a lot of people really do like this book. Definitely let me know if you read it in the comments down below. The next book that I have is Little Woman by Louisa May Alcott, and this book, again, I tried to read years ago, and I think I got about halfway done, and then I just never picked up again. I don't remember much about it, but I do remember some of the characters, and this follows the March sisters, who are all very different. They have completely different interests and personalities, but the one thing that they have in common is the loyalty that they feel for one another. And this takes place during the Civil War in New England, and it is based on Louisa May Alcott's life. So I am looking forward to rereading this again. So that is it for the books that I want to read this spring. Definitely let me know what books you guys are looking forward to reading in the comments down below. And make sure you subscribe if you liked this video, and also give it a thumbs up. I would love to have you guys back, and I will see you guys soon with another video.